So I've gotten a ton of requests for Mariah Carey stuff on this channel, and I realized that in my entire existence, I've never listened to a full Mariah Carey album start to finish. And a lot of people recommended that because I like hip hop and stuff so much, I should check out the Caution album. So we're gonna check that out right now. So this album was actually released in 2018. Obviously, I'm late to the party. It runs for 38 minutes, it's 10 tracks. I'm excited to check this out, let's do it. This first song is called Get the Fuck Out, or GTFO. Ooh, I like that disenchanted thing she did. There's something about her saying that in her voice that makes it sound so much stronger than to like yell it at somebody. There's something about the song being soft, but then she says that, and it's so much harder. Get the fuck out, go stay at your friend's house. So I actually love that song as an intro track. I don't know what the entire album sounds like, but I like that it doesn't come in too strong, but the message is clear. And what I mean by that is that song was very soft, and her delivery was very soft, even though it was typical Mariah. We got a lot of those really beautiful notes that she's able to hit. But even the lyrical value was so hard, and what it did was it made that soft song feel like just a giant fuck you, straight up. I mean, the song's called Get the Fuck Out. She literally goes over some moments there just saying, why don't you go stay at your friend's house? Like, I think that sets a really great tone here. But it also has me intrigued now, because I don't know what the rest of the album's gonna sound like. But it's crazy to me to hear that, you know, so many years in the game and she still sounds this great on record. That's amazing. Okay, the next song we're gonna listen to is called With You. Oh. Okay. I love a Mariah run like that. Damn, I fucks with you. Okay, highlights of that track. Shouting out a Bone Thugs song. She said, damn, I fucks with you, and it feels different coming from Mariah, and I like it. And the highlight is I really enjoy the end of that track there where she had recorded her own backing vocals of her hitting those extremely high registers, and it's like playing in the back while she's still singing, and it really just makes for a cool moment on that song. I always thought of Mariah as like the hip hop singer, because when I was growing up in like the late 90s, early 2000s, when I feel like Mariah was played heavy, and she was doing, like, it seemed like she was doing a lot of tracks with, like, I think it was like B2K maybe. I think she had one with P. Diddy. Like, I think there was a lot going on. And so I always associated her with that because I was always watching BET. And I feel like I would see Mariah on there more than I imagined I would. So it's cool to hear this album so far. And I don't know if a lot of her stuff sounds like this. I know that listening to some of her best vocal runs and all that, I haven't heard any stuff like this yet. So it's fun to actually hear this album. I'm enjoying it so far. The Bone Thugs, I was not expecting a reference to Bone Thugs on this album. Okay, the next song is called Caution. This is what the album is called too. I'm feeling some heavy 2000s R&B right here. So I really do enjoy hearing Mariah Carey deliver these verses with sort of a rap or hip hop style influence, and then coming in with a chorus that's very R&B heavy. It definitely gives me these feels of the late 90s, early 2000s R&B era, and I bring this up in a lot of my videos because I really enjoyed that era, especially for like R&B. I really enjoyed Mary J. Blige's beats that they would choose, and then some of these songs that would come out. I often reference Blue Cantrell as well because Hit 'Em Up Style had one of the greatest instrumentals of all time. But what I like is that Mariah's got sort of that feel in these songs with the beat selection that's happening in the back. Also, again, in this track, we got another moment where she had pre-recorded her higher notes and they were playing in the back while she's ad-libbing over them, and it just sounds so amazing. And anytime that you hear a Mariah sort of cadence like that with, the Mariah vocal runs, you already know it's going to be good because she's a legend for that kind of stuff. So far, 3 tracks in, I like it. I will say that It's a little bit slower paced than what I usually listen to, but where it's making up for that is the beat selection. So even though the songs are slow, the beats are still hard hitting. And again, even with an intro track like Get the Fuck Out, even though the song was soft, again, which is a little bit different than what I usually listen to, the overall delivery of the song is what made it hard. So the next song is called A No-No. A No-No. It's those 90s and 2000s R&B hits right here. Okay, so it's funny that right after I say the songs have been a little bit slower, it picks up with A No-No. And I really enjoyed the fact that they had a sample playing in the back for a lot of this track because it added a little bit more of that hip-hop element to this. And again, with the beat selection, 90s and 2000s R&B. I love that she's bringing that sound to this album and bringing it, 2018, keeping that current, keeping that modern. It's always fun to see artists kind of bring that style back to life. A couple notable lyrics on this track to me. I rock Dior because it matches my diamond. After everything we already been through, I can't waste no time paying attention to you. I thought those lyrics were good. Definitely funny, definitely sets the tone for this because that is a no-no. I definitely feel like parts of it were a little bit jumbled, especially, again, I like that sample, but at points there was like a little bit too much going on, maybe in like the last minute. But I'm glad that at the end there we got the Mariah laugh and then like done or whatever. I thought that was a cool way to end that track. So the next song is actually the first collab we have on the album, and that's gonna be The Distance featuring Ty Dolla $ign. I don't know how you guys feel about Ty Dolla $ign. I really liked him at first, but then he ended up on every single track, and it's like almost always the same thing. Like, I can't think of too many memorable lyrics that Ty Dolla $ign has given me out of the 400 tracks he was on just last year. Like, at least Lil Wayne did a lot of like collaborations with artists and pop artists, and I can quote lyrics from those all day. They were memorable. Ty Dolla $ign, I don't know, but we're gonna see. I could be wrong. The song is called The Distance. So that song started out a little bit slow, and then once the beat came in and Mariah really started feeling herself, I feel like the song got really great. Really quickly, I was getting annoyed with the Ty Dolla $ign ad-libs, but I was thinking it wasn't going to be a big deal because they're hyping up his moment, which is going to be awesome. And I will say that Ty Dolla $ign's part was actually good, but why was it so short? And he did his part, there was no beat drop in the back. There was a moment where I feel like they had a really great opportunity that was missed right there, where like he kind of hyped it up the same way Mariah did in the first 30 seconds of her verse. He did the same thing, no beat drop behind it. And then when the beat was going to drop, it went back into the chorus and not with a little bit of Ty Dolla $ign over a beat. I think that would have made the collab a little bit better because it was otherwise short. And I think that where they chose to put the ad-libs in this song, we're like trying to take spotlight away from Mariah's moments. And like, you do not take spotlights away from Mariah's moments. This is a Mariah album. You are a feature on this album. So I will say that I had an open mind going into that song with a Ty Dolla $ign. I liked Ty Dolla $ign's part, but it was just entirely too short, and I feel like that did take a little bit away from it being the collaboration. There are two more collabs on this album. One, I don't really know who that person is, and then the other one is Gunna. So for that one, I would say that for a collab, it wasn't the best one, but Mariah did her thing, and that's really what we're here for. Okay, so the next track that we're gonna listen to is called Giving Me Life. Let's do it. Title, play. Oh, this is featuring Slick Rick and Blood Orange. I don't know who Blood Orange is. Much lower tone than she's sang in the rest of this album so far.
Why? Reminisce, wanna be Hunsy Hun, follow she from was the first chick clock wallabies. Yeah, right, just get the fuck out.
God, they're really building some hype here for something. Okay, so I'm gonna guess that Blood Orange is more of like a guitar band or something. I don't know too much about them, but I want to say this track is how you do a good feature or a good collaboration. We had Mariah with these really beautiful runs throughout this entire song, also over a really great beat. And so when Slick Rick came in, rather than being some copy paste or some other weird thing that I've heard lately, Slick Rick gets his own verse, an entire verse over this really great beat, and it carries the song so much. Now, I will say that around the 5-minute mark, when the fade out kind of started to happen, we had like a little bit of like Slick Rick talking in the back, I think. And because I didn't know what Blood Orange was, I was sitting here thinking like, okay, this is a 6-minute song, which is a pretty lengthy track. And for a moment, nothing was happening. And I was kind of like, oh, I just heard a copy and paste feature a couple albums ago from a different artist. And that's kind of what happened. It was like right at the end, something was kind of pasted on. And so I was nervous, but I was so wrong. Like the build-up for the end of that track combined with the elements that Blood Orange added, and of course Mariah's beautiful harmonies and beautiful runs, that was such a great way to close that track out. In fact, I might have been okay if they would have cut it off at like 4.5 minutes and made a track with just her over a Blood Orange track, because that sounded so great. So I really enjoyed that one. I was a little bit nervous. 6 minutes is a long runtime, and oftentimes I feel like it drags on too long, but I never felt that way with the song. It was just very chill. It was very relaxing. And, you know, I'm playing this on Tidal. I got this on hi-fi, best settings possible on a great speaker, so I could really just feel that moment here. All right, the next song that we're going to check out is a song called One Mo Gin. I think she's trying to say one mo again, or it's one mo gin, and she's talking about alcohol, but it's spelled different. Okay, we're going to check that out. Yes. I like it. I think there's just something that hits different when Mariah Carey says, "Can we just get it in one more again?" Because it's the first more of like sexual, no, not more of, that's the first sexual track that we have on the album. And I say one more again in my house all the time. You know, it's a habit. I've been saying it for way too long. And when Mariah says, "Can we just get it in one more again?" I'm like, all right. I'd probably die if she ever said that to me. I'd be a dead man. Yeah, there's just something about that track that hits different. And the beat selection on this entire album so far has been fucking incredible. Like, the amount of effort to really select these beats and to have Mariah's beautiful voice match any style of the beat that she's on. It just really shows how many years of experience she has. And can we just get it in one more again? Okay, so the next track that we're gonna listen to is a song called 8th Grade.
Rules, nothing to lose. Never no pressure, just put yourself in. I'm a confirmation, sure you feel unsure. I'm not secure, let me rest without rules, nothing to lose. Never no pressure.
Hearing Mariah trade off vocal runs with Mariah is the greatest thing ever. So I know I said it in the song, but honestly, hearing Mariah vibing off of Mariah is such a feel. It's such a vibe for this album. And in that song, we got that a lot. So obviously, she records her track, then she records her second vocal track, and then they play them. Typically, they would play them together. But this one, it would be like she would say something, and then her previously recorded would say something. And it was vibing off of each other so well that it's a mind fuck, because you don't expect to hear someone that great on one song, and now I gotta hear you 2 times on that same song in different registers. That's amazing. Like, fuck. And if that wasn't the cool part, again, I nerd out about beats a lot, because if you notice modern day music, especially pop and hip hop, even if the lyrical content is garbage, even if the singers are garbage or the track is terrible, if the beat is good, it will keep you going back. I feel like many artists have been more popular because their beats are so good. And when I hear Mariah, who is a fucking legend, over a beat that is this good, that's 2 birds with 1 stone. That's everything I want. If I'm listening to hip hop right now, you just gave me Drake. And then I really appreciated, and I always do, the little bit of fade out there for the last minute, where it was kind of just her ad-libbing a little bit and mostly focused heavy on just showcasing this beat in different cadences. We had different like reverb on it and different hits, a little bit of tempo changes. Ultimately, just such a nerd moment for myself. Okay, so the next song that we're gonna listen to is actually a collaboration or feature with Gunna. Gunna is a pretty popular hip hop artist right now. The song is called Stay Long, Love You. I have high hopes that this is a real feature and not a copy paste. Like the Ty Dolla $ign one was a feature, and it was okay. The Slick Rick one was great. I hope that Gunna gets sort of a moment like that. So let's check it out. Oh, hey, hey. Yes. Enjoying a feature. A feature can be make or break. A feature can, be something that takes away from a track. I loved what they did there with Mariah and Gunna. I felt like Gunna really was a part of that song. The same way I felt like Slick Rick and Blood Orange really added to the other collaboration. I really do feel like Gunna added to this song. And I could tell that Mariah vibed off of his vibe too, because they both did so incredible over this beat. Gunna, obviously, this is where he's going to shine, and he did just that. He gave us a small verse and then his own verse, and it was great. Personally, Mariah vibing off of that gave such a good feel to this song, and this is what I like to see. It's so easy for a feature to just break something, but the fact that Gunna and Mariah used this moment to, do what was necessary there. That beat is there. That beat hits hard. Mariah has to come in, and I feel like Mariah really shines on these hip-hop beats. I don't know very much of her career. When I was a kid, I listened to a lot of the singles when they were on the radio. I told you I've seen a lot of her collaborations she did with like R&B and stuff, but I don't know what the rest of her catalog looked like after that. Now, I like to think that she was always a little bit hip-hop influenced. I mean, I always felt the R&B in her voice, but when I hear her on a track like this with a, big hip-hop artist doing such an incredible job to she's not even being outshined on her own track, despite the fact that Gunna is also a big name, and I really love that. Overall, the entire aesthetic of this album has been way more than I expected. I went into this with an open mind because it's the first Mariah Carey full album I've ever sat down and listened to, and part of me was thinking it was just going to be about vocals, but the lyrics have been great in some of these songs. The runs that she did, the vocals are there. The beats have been amazing, but it's more than just that. You can't just put Mariah on top of a beat and it work. Mariah has to feel that shit, and she feels it in this, and it makes me wonder if she's always just been a huge fan of this kind of work, because she did an incredible job with this record. Like, I don't know what genre they tried to classify this in, and if you guys know me at all, you know that I hate genres because I feel like it puts these boxes up around what you can like and what you can't like just based around a genre rather than going into it with an open mind. But I would have marketed this one easily as like a R&B hip-hop crossover album, like easily. So whoever recommended it, you nailed this. The last track we're about to listen to is a song called Portrait, and then I'll give you my take on what I felt about the entire album. So let's do it.
Where do I go from here?
Oh, okay. Changing it up a bit. Ooh, I like that. Damn. Okay, so I actually wondered if we were going to get a track that sounded like that. And honestly, going into this project, that song is what I thought the entire album was actually going to sound like. When I think of Mariah's music, or I think album content, sometimes that's where my mind goes, because she is just such an amazing, unique vocalist that I imagine that a lot of her songs consist of songs like this. And I know that to be true to an extent. And that's just based on some of the singles I've heard that weren't upbeat. Any of the slower paced songs always had these really great vocal runs, which is exactly what just happened. Having said that, I think that this track is very welcomed on here, because if you're a fan of Mariah and you've been listening for years and years, this is the kind of content that you enjoy anyways. This is the kind of stuff when you want to see her live. I want to hear a song like this. I want to see what she's going to do with this in a live setting. Now, I'm a big believer in listening to albums from start to finish. I preach that on this channel. I'll probably make merch about it, because I think that artists, there's a reason why they choose the track selection the way they do. There's a reason there's track 1 through 10. There's a reason that they're in order. You have the option to shuffle, and once you've listened to an album enough times, that's what you do. But here on this reaction channel, we listen to this album in order, the way the artist wanted you to listen to it, and I think that's important. GTFO, Get the Fuck Out, that was a little bit slower of a song. From then on, the pace really picked up, including but not limited to track 9, when Gunna comes in with Mariah, and they absolutely kill that beat. Then we end on another soft note. And I think that there's a reason for that. It's like a book being open and a book being closed. You proceeded to this album with caution. You started out a little bit slower. She continued to give you harder and harder tracks. And then she closes with something really beautiful like this, and I think that was perfect. But overall, I am genuinely impressed by this. For this being my first Mariah album, I probably went into this project and it being such a big crossover with hip hop that, you know, maybe the other albums don't sound like this, but for what this is, I really enjoy this project. Even if it's a standalone and she's not doing anything else like this, it was cool to be able to experience this, so I am very thankful to my subscribers that have asked for more Mariah content. And I saw this name of this album come up so many times, and then recently on Twitter someone brought it up again, and I said, you know what, I need to check it out. If this many people think I'm gonna like it, chances are it's a good project. What were your opinions on this project? What were your opinions on this album? Let me know in the comment section. Some people maybe wouldn't have liked it. They wanted more of a classic sound. I feel like it's 2019 or 2018 when this came out. I feel like this is the correct sound for the time, for the era. This is what's popular. This is the stuff that's going more mainstream. And of course, in the comment section, let me know if you like this, if there's other Mariah albums that you think that I would like that I should listen to on my channel, or other artists that you like. I really enjoy doing these album reactions. I feel like it is a lot more personal, and it's easier for me to actually fall in love with an artist rather than just watching one music video or one live performance. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, I'm Steven. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.